All right, let's pull back the curtain. 2025, the year is almost done. You're being told a story about interest rates, about mergers, about economic forecasts. It sounds technical, dull, dry numbers for dry suits in dry rooms. But you're not seeing the battlefield. This isn't just finance. This is a hidden war. A Cold War fought not with tanks, but with trillions. Not with treaties, but with interest rates. And the weapons of choice? They're not what you think. The spoils? Even stranger. And every single one of us is standing on the field, whether we know it or not. Meet the first weapon, the rate cut. It sounds so benign, right? The Fed cuts rates to help the economy. Help, as if it's medicine. In 2025, it's not medicine. It's an offensive strike. Think about it. The Federal Reserve, America's central bank, has been cutting rates aggressively, making money cheaper, flooding the system. By this December, the third cut hits. Why? Officially, to manage inflation and support growth. But in this war, every cut is a calculated blast of financial energy. It empowers American banks to lend, to expand, to go on the hunt. It's a signal fire to the world. We are pumping liquidity, and capital is going to flow here. This is a playbook with old roots. Rewind to 1913. The Panic of 1907 had just shaken America to its core. The answer was the Federal Reserve, created to stabilize, to protect. But a century later, that shield has learned how to strike. Its policies aren't just domestic tools anymore. They're international maneuvers. And they create something insidious, collateral. That collateral is you, me, anyone whose savings, job, or future is tied to asset bubbles inflated by cheap money. But no war is one-sided. Enter the global banks. The Bank of England, the European Central Bank. They spent most of 2025 cutting rates too. Fast, hard. But as winter sets in, they hit pause. The easing cycle is declared over. They're digging in, taking a defensive stance. And right there, you have the front line. A divergence. When the Fed cuts and others don't, capital gets sucked toward American shores. Other currencies weaken. Trade twists. A financial gravity well forms. History screams this warning. After 1913, the Fed's first great rivalry was with the Bank of England. Gold standards. War debts. Monetary dominance. Those clashes helped turn a recession into the Great Depression. Later, after World War II, yield curve controls sparked fresh tensions. Same game. New scoreboards. This is the predictability of surprises. Even expected moves send shockwaves through pensions, markets, and the price of everything on your shelf. So who fights on this battlefield? Not just Wall Street titans. Look at a regional soldier. Hancock Whitney Corporation. Gulf Coast. December 2025. A quiet but powerful move. They renew a plan to buy back their own stock. A signal of confidence. Why? Because the Fed's rate cuts are their artillery support. Loan margins expand. Earnings rise. They're named one of America's best banks. They are maneuvering, fortified by the Fed's offensive. And they are not alone. 2025 is a merger wave. Dozens of deals. Billions in value. Regional banks consolidating. Bigger. Stronger. This is weaponized liquidity at work. It's the 1907 panic play in reverse. Not merging out of desperation, but out of strength. Now watch the smoke shift. A different sector. A different explosion. December 5th, 2025. Netflix announces it's swallowing Warner Brothers Discovery. HBO. DC Comics. Harry Potter. Price tag, $72 billion. This is not coincidence. This is a proxy war. While banks battle with balance sheets, New Age empires battle for something more valuable, attention. The currency of that war is intellectual property. Stories, characters, franchises. This is a land grab for invisible assets. Netflix isn't buying studios. It's stockpiling armies of IP. And the financing? It comes from banks flush with the same cheap money the Fed is pumping out. The merger wave in banking and entertainment share one source. Consolidation. Control. So what are the true spoils of this war? Not gold, not land, not oil. In 2025, the real treasure is invisible. First, cryptocurrency. Digital assets. In December, regulators approved the first crypto-focused national banks. The gates swing open. FDIC, OCC, traditional banks get the green light. Crypto is the new territory, the uncharted land. The first to build forts will control the future of value. Second, intellectual property. The $72 billion Netflix just spent. They didn't buy film reels. They bought perpetual imagination. Batman, Superman, Game of Thrones. Assets that never rust, never deplete. They print money forever. Across movies, merch, games, and experiences not yet invented. The winners aren't stockpiling cash. They're stockpiling code and copyrights. They're building forts in the digital frontier. This all echoes back to 1913. The Fed was created as a shield against chaos. But over time, the shield became a sword. Independence became power. The rivalry with the Bank of England was only chapter 1. We are living in the latest chapter now. And here's the critical truth. You are not a spectator. Every money decision you make is a move on this board. Savings in low-yield accounts, investments, crypto, subscriptions, even a movie ticket. Each one allocates resources in this war. Those who understand this are adapting. Banks embracing crypto. Companies hoarding IP. They're digging into the winning trenches. The laggards wait for old rules to return and risk becoming collateral. Just like 1929, just like 2008. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And the rhythm is chilling. So as 2025 closes, the battlefield is set. The Fed's rate cuts are the opening salvos. Global banks are mounting their defense. Mergers are shockwaves reshaping the landscape. The treasure is no longer in vaults. It's in servers and legal filings. This hidden war isn't about Democrat or Republican, red or blue. It's digital versus physical, centralized versus decentralized, the visible versus the invisible. The question for you, standing on the field, is this. Will you see the world through old, tangible things? Cash, gold, brick and mortar? Or will you learn to see and value the invisible? Will you adapt? Or will your financial future become collateral damage? The war isn't coming. It's already here. And the front line is everywhere.